fun. Phonics is fun.
Okay, welcome back to this edition of Reading the Clock. So I'm sure, or I hope rather than I'm sure, I hope that you would have watched the first video on time, reading time with Auntie Nats, and you are following up. If you have not done so, I really would recommend that you pause this video and go watch the other one and come back, because this is a follow-up lesson. So if you're really not mastering clocks yet, this lesson might be a challenge for you. Go and then come back, all right? So in this lesson, the aim is to teach you how to understand, read, find time, a quarter past and a quarter to, right? Quarter past an hour or a quarter to the next hour. So we are going to be working with that in this video. Remember, we spoke about finding, well, let's just review a little bit here. The long hand and the short hand on the clock. The long hand tells the minute, the short hand tells the hour. So if my long hand is on 6, I start at 5 and I'm counting by 5, because there are 5 minutes intervals from 1 hour to the next. There are 5 minutes. Each little line here is indicating a minute or representing a minute. So we count here 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So on our clocks, when we're reading our clocks, so we looked at dividing it into half. Yes, we're talking about fractions into half. So we have this side and we have this side of the clock. So from 1 around to 6, we call that past, right? After. And from 6 up, we call that to the next hour. Got that? Is that clear? Don't worry about that right now. We're talking about finding a quarter. So in video 1, we learned to find half of the hour. So 60 minutes will give us 1 hour. And we counted that in video 1. So we're not going to be looking at that in this video for the interest of time. So we know that half of 60 is 30. We established that in the first video. So we're just talking facts right here. 30 minutes is half of an hour. So we are going to learn now how to find the quarter of an hour. And I have a very interesting, simple method for you, because I'm taking into consideration the fact that you're learning time and you might not have done any division yet. You might not have done any fractions yet. I mean, like kindergartens can learn this, grade 1s can learn this, and you might not have done any of those things yet, but that should not stop you from reading the clock. Time is what is available to us. Time is what God gave us. So you know what? Let us master time. So here is my method. I love to talk about pizza, although I'm not really such a fan, but maybe you are. So why can't I speak about something that you love? Okay, so here is it. And we're going to cut this into half. So let's say this is a whole clock. Not talk about no pizza, right? Let's talk about the clock. Doesn't look half-ish, but let me get it like close to half. So please see half. 2 halves. So remember, if this was our clock, or since this is our clock, let me put my 12 and my 6. There we go. My clock, right? This is a half. So over here we have 30 minutes. Over here we have, let me not put them inside, let me put them outside. 30 minutes, and over here is 30 minutes. So 30 plus 30 gives us 60. Now we want to find half of something. No, not half. We have already found half. We want to find a quarter of something, anything. We can find quarter of anything. And let us use smaller numbers now to find quarters. Let's go. We're gonna work this to the T. You're gonna be surprised to see how easy it's gonna be for you to find the quarter. I'm left-handed, so I have to position differently now. All right, so if we have 4, we want to find a quarter of 4. So we're gonna first find out how much is a half of 4. So remember what we're doing using this sharing method? So here are our 4 things. How much is a half of 4? 1 for me, 1 for you, 1 for me, 1 for you. So a half of 4 is 2, right? Half of 4 is 2. For hereafter, we're gonna do it as though you know. Hope that you know what half of a number is. So half of 4 is 2. And how do we find the quarter of a number? The quarter of any number is half of a half. How do we find the quarter of any number? Find half and then find half of the next half. A quarter is half of a half. Say that with me. A quarter is half of a half. One more time. A quarter is half of a half. So to find the quarter of anything, find half and then find half of the half. So remember that we're finding a quarter of 4. Let's go. So half of 4 is 2. Half of 2 is 1. How much is a quarter of 4? 1. Yeah, just like that. Let's find a quarter of 8. How much is half of 8? So here goes our thing. We have 8. How much is a half of 8? A half of 8 is 4. So how much is a half of 4? A half of 4 is 2. So we say a quarter of 8 is 2. A quarter is half of a half. Let's take some bigger numbers now. How much is a quarter of 20? Let's back up. Don't get scared. How much is a half of 20? 10. So how much is a half of 10? 5. Therefore, 5 is a quarter of 20. Let's go higher. Let's go to 60. Let's leave out 60 for last, since that's really the one we want to work on. Let's go bigger. How much is a quarter of 100? A half of 100 is 50, and a half of 50 is 25. So a quarter of 100 is 25. Let's go to our 60. Let's go to our clock. So here we have our clock, and a quarter means that whatever we have is going to be shared or divided into 4 equal parts. So let's go. Here we have our clock. All of this side, let me shade one side like we're doing fractions. Let's shade one side here so we can see what a half is. That's a half, right? So half of this half is 30. So half of 30 is 15. Half of 30, let's shade. Let me find another color to shade my half. Shade it in another direction as well to show my 15. There goes my 15, a quarter. Quarter of an hour means 15 minutes. Quarter of an hour is 15 minutes. So a quarter past any hour is 15 minutes after the hour. 15 minutes past the hour. Okay? So let us find where 15 minutes. We know that 12 is o'clock. Let's go back. 12 says o'clock. 6 says 30. That is half past. Let us find the number that is 15 past. 15 after. Let's learn that number. Let's find what it is. So we're counting from here by 5. Let's go. 5, 10, 15. We found him. Let's go again. 5, 10, 15. So it's number 3. So 15 past the hour, our minute hand has to be on number 3. So let's see what's going on here. So it is 15 past the hour. So I want you to look at my hour. My hour hand is not exactly on it because remember we're saying past the hour. Past the hour. So I'm taking it off a little. So 15 minutes past. 1, 5, 10, 15 on number 3. So that's all you need to remember. Once you can remember that 15 is on number 3, and in 15 minutes past anything, you're going to put it on the minute hand on number 3. So let's see if we can find 4:15. Okay? So the hour hand is a little bit after the 4, and our minute hand is going to be on 3, 4:15. Can you find 5:15 or 6:15? All right, let me see if you know what this time is. I don't want you moving. You've got to obey me. I don't want you moving, so let me hold you right here. What time is this? Remember when it's on 3, how many minutes? 5, 10, 15. Look at the hour. What hour has 10? So it is 10, 15. 10, 15. That's it. 10, 15. All right, so I trust that you have understood how to find the quarter past. If you haven't, pause the video, go back, watch it several times, and you will get it, okay? Now, I'm going to now move up to a quarter to. So remember, quarter is 15 minutes. So now we're talking about 15 minutes to the new hour. 15 minutes to the new hour. So, what's that gonna be? What is that gonna be? Where are we gonna take it from first? To find out what number is gonna be that quarter to. We know that 3 is quarter past. What's gonna be the quarter to? Let's figure that out. Let's look at your clock carefully. So remember that if it's this minute hand here, it's moving and going around, try to get back to o'clock to get it to the new hour, right? To get it to the new hour. So once we pass 6, everything is going to be to the new hour. So if it was 10:15, remember it was 10:15, then it becomes 10:30. Now it is a couple of minutes to 11 because it is after 10. So we are now going to the next hour, and the next hour after 10 is 11, right? So we can, once we get here, after 5:30, each time can be read 2 ways. Yes. So if this is right here, this is 10, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. 10:35, as you would have seen it on the digital clock. Or we can say, if it's 10:35, it's 35 minutes past 10, 35 minutes after 10. Therefore, it is some minutes to 11 o'clock. How many minutes to 11 o'clock? So we can count from here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So it's 25 minutes to 11 o'clock. Or we could come here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 25 minutes to 11 o'clock. Now we weren't looking at that. We want to find quarter. So let's go. Quarter to, let's go up here and start. 5, 10, 15. This is 15 over here. So 9 is going to be on 9. The minute hand is going to be on 9. Or if we want to find out how much, when we go all the way from here, all of this journey, all the way up to 9, let's find out the other number that we can use for that quarter to. So let's go here and count. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So 10:45 is the same as a quarter to 11 o'clock. 10:45 is the same as 15 minutes to 11 o'clock. So it is 45 minutes after 10. We only need 15 more minutes to finish the hour. That means it's 15 minutes before 11 o'clock. So if I say to you, can you set the clock to a quarter to 1? A quarter to 1. A quarter to 1 is the same as, go back to the hour before it, a quarter to 1 would be 12:45. It would be 12:45, almost 1 o'clock. That is a quarter to. A quarter to 2 would be 1:45. 1:45. That is 15 minutes before. 5, 10, 15 minutes before 2 o'clock. I'm not going to teach you the subtraction method because some of you may not be subtracting and regrouping and all of that, boring as I call it. So I'm not going to do the subtraction in this lesson. But for those of you who are more mature in arithmetic, you could use the subtraction method, right? Do you understand it? Do I need to go over, or will you just watch the video again? Which one? So we're saying 45, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. This is 1:45. 1:45 is the same as 15 minutes to 2, or a quarter to 2. Quarter. Remember, half of the pie and then half of the pie? Quarter. Let's look at it. Go back here. So if this is 12, this is 6. Half here would be 3. So we can literally cut our clocks to give us these numbers. So this is 3, and over where the 9 is supposed to be. So those two numbers to remember, all these 4 rather. The 12 o'clock, the 12 o'clock, the 3, 15 minutes, the 6, 30 minutes, and the 9, 45 minutes after. 3, 15 minutes past, 6, 30 minutes past, and the 9, 45 minutes past, or 15 minutes to the next hour. I hope that sheds some light on time and make you love time, love telling the time, love reading the time, and redeem the time. Please study. Use some of your time to read the Word of God, and use some of your time to pray. Use your time to obey. Use your time to be diligent. Use your time to research. Use your time to get to know who you are. All right? Come back soon for more reading with Auntie Nats with the Name My Reading program, where we are rebuilding the walls of literacy, and that takes time. See you.